Welcome to another edition of Navigator Insider with host Kelly Albin, alongside PGA Professional Jason Becker, CEO and co-founder of Golf Life Navigators.
Hello again, and welcome to another edition of the Navigator Insider, featuring valuable information from Golf Life Navigators, your ultimate resource to discover, experience, and ultimately secure your ideal golf lifestyle. My name is Kelly Albin. I'm with Golf Life Navigators, and today I'm joined by PGA Professional Jason Becker, co-founder and CEO of Golf Life Navigators. Jason, thanks for taking a few minutes off of busy days to join us. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about different states and that Golf Life Navigators is involved in. We've expanded, haven't we?
Thanks, Kelly. A pleasure to be here. As it turns out, today we're actually been talking a lot about Arizona here in the four walls of Golf Life headquarters in Naples, Florida.
The company was started in 2014, and first 3 years the focus strictly was on those people who were looking to relocate to Florida. Now has expanded to Arizona, to the Carolinas, and through the Pro Guide 3 questionnaire, you're able to really narrow down to your interest in terms of what state, and then geographically within each state, the budget you may have. And Jason, there are variances, aren't there, in terms of states? Not every part of every state is the same as the other, much less Arizona being different from Florida.
What consumers were telling us coming into the program in the beginning days was that they didn't necessarily know what to expect, or that they had no idea that there was different weather patterns from Sarasota to Naples, which, as the crow flies, is only a couple-hour drive, but it's certainly different, patterns and whatnot, price points, cultures, etc. And so now you add Arizona and the Carolinas into the mix, and there's a plethora of different options. When we got Florida off the ground and really got a good understanding of what each market entailed and incorporate that into the decision-making of the Pro Guide 3, we started looking in Scottsdale and Phoenix and Tucson, and then into the Carolina markets, primarily because of demand. Not every consumer wants to be in Florida, and some want to be out west, or what we call in the Florida marketplace, there's a lot of halfbacks where people come to Florida for 10, 12 years and then decide to go halfway back home and set up shop in the Carolinas. We all built those into the algorithm. They've really been a hot topic, especially out west for consumers, and that'll kind of set the stage for us before we introduce Palm Springs, California, and the Texas markets, probably by early summer 2018.
Just as an example, you worked over on the East Coast in Boca Raton as a PGA professional a number of years ago. I mean, just in the state of Florida, the vast differences between the Boca Raton lifestyle on the East Coast and a Naples lifestyle on the West Coast. Very, very different, aren't they?
Yeah, you're only 90 minutes away from each other, and you got two totally different lifestyles. And I think a lot of it goes back to the age-old analogy of I-75 and I-95 corridor. That I-95 runs all the way up through the Met section of New York and down through Philadelphia and the Washington regions. And then I-75 runs all the way up through the Midwest, through Ohio, Michigan, and kind of pulls the Chicago folks over. And so you have two different cultures on each side of the state. Now, that is getting a little bit more dynamic. We're seeing a lot more people crossing paths. A lot of Boston folks and Philadelphia folks looking at the west side of Florida. Their decision or their motivating factor was that, we have a very busy lifestyle up here now. We want something a little bit different in the future, or we just want to get away from that. Whereas the people in the Midwest are saying, we're going to be retiring soon. We want to be able to go to concerts, have nightlife, and be a part of the fun energy. And so they're looking more on the east coast of Florida. Again, it's so many different options out there, and for a consumer to try to figure that out on their own, it's really can make it difficult. So that's why we implore them to take the Pro Guide 3, because it really can help filter not only that for them, but when our PGA professionals review those Pro Guides after they're completed, and we notice that someone is looking for a club that is very, very low-key and not a lot going on and unpretentious, if you will, and they've chosen a club maybe that was in Miami, we'll call them up and just kind of make sure that they have a good understanding of those cultures and what their lifestyle is like in those markets.
And now in going out to Arizona, for those in the Midwest, you give them another option, so that pipeline from, say, Chicago to Naples can now be extended from Chicago out west to Phoenix, Scottsdale. Nice opportunity for people to utilize the Pro Guide 3 that way.
It is, yeah. It's just kind of getting going in Scottsdale, but it's already been a very hot marketplace. We did a couple of deployments last week, and 40% of the people that took the Pro Guide indicated Arizona. A very, I don't know if hot's the right, hot destination's the right word, but you kind of get where I'm going there. People are certainly looking out that way. For a lot of people that are interested into the Florida culture, certainly Arizona is just as appealing.
Sunbelt continues to expand for Golf Life Navigators. Florida, Arizona, the Carolinas, Palm Springs, shortly down the road, parts of Texas.
And I would add one more thing. I think that for any consumers that are listening that aren't really sure where they want to live, to take a couple of Pro Guide 3s, take one in Arizona, take one in Florida, and if it's feasible, make a trip out there, visit those clubs in Arizona, visit the clubs in Florida, and then really immerse yourself in the cultures. And I think that in your gut, you'll know what's the right place for you when you arrive.
I'm glad you mentioned that. The Pro Guide 3 questionnaire, it's free. Takes about 12 minutes to complete. Saves you invaluable time and money. All you have to do is go to golflifenavigators.com, where you will find it and complete it. You'll be on your way. Jason, thanks again, and thanks to all of you for listening to this edition of the Navigator Insider. We hope you check out all of our other podcasts, and we'll see you down the road.
Thanks for listening to the Navigator Insider podcast. To make your transition to retirement easier with tips, tools, and strategies, take your personal Pro Guide 3 questionnaire at golflifenavigators.com and watch for the next Navigator Insider on TuneIn.